I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
That's what happens when you race like a dog. I wasn't in great shape, and because of that, I was seriously questioning whether I should even show up to that race. But do I regret it? I haven't been riding very well recently. Had a crash about a month ago. Nothing serious, but my frame cracked and I was off the bike for like a week. I got a new frame the day before I had a trip to LA. And it took me a couple days to get my legs back under me, but the freshness paid off and I was able to do some of my best all-time numbers when I was out there. At the same time, the Race Against the Sun gets announced. It's 2 weeks out. 55 miles from the George Washington Bridge up the Hudson to Beacon, New York. Organized by the Venerable David Trimble, starting at 5:50 p.m., sunset at 8:22, racing against the sun. Epic potential, and I had 2 weeks to ride myself into shape. And my plan was to race into fitness, with local group rides and races that were taking place. But the day after I get back to New York, getting ready to go to bed, and I feel a tickle in my throat, where I'm like, uh-oh, I don't think this will be going away quickly. So I'm sick, and my plans are derailed. It's not bad enough that I'm not able to ride, but I can't do any of the races, and I can't push myself, and I have to take days off. And the upcoming race doesn't care about that, and the entire time I'm questioning whether I should even do it. I didn't start feeling like myself again until 2 days before the race. Too late to even cram for the test. Not optimal, but I go out that day, do a bigger ride, and felt great. Chain tight throughout, pushing it on the hills, finished with gas in the tank. It was a reminder that I know how to ride a bike, and there's a badass race coming up, and I should do it. The day before the race, I rolled an hour easy in the park, and it kind of hurt, and I knew that the race was going to be a crapshoot. The morning of the race, I wake up and I'm excited. I get to race today against the sun. I get to play bikes. And late afternoon rolls around and I'm rolling over to the race and I'm pleasantly surprised that my legs are turning over the pedals nicely. Because of the lack of training, my plan was to race as conservatively as I possibly could. And regardless of that, I know myself. I'm a Cat 3 racer. There were stronger guys in the field. I finished between 11th and 19th in all of the races that I do. About 30 minutes in, the race really starts going. And about 15 minutes after that, we hit the first major hill. The selection is made, and I make it. And that feels great. I'm starting to tire, and I know I have a limited number of matches. And to hang on, I might just have to start riding like a dog. So the group starts rolling turns, and I don't really pull through.
Are you gonna pull?
People don't like that. And that was a mistake, because it wouldn't have been comfy. I could have pulled through, and instead allowed an attack that started to chase. 2 minutes later, I'm on my limit, not pulling through again, and people don't like that either.
Pull through.
And then I got dropped, and I'm cooked. There are 30 miles of racing left, and I don't want to ride that alone. I'm able to chase back, barely get onto the second group, and I'm gassed. Can't take a single turn or contribute to the chase in the slightest.
Can't, man.
I hung on for 45 minutes more. I even took a couple of really weak turns. My lights officially went out with about 10 miles left in the race. Rolled about 20 minutes of that solo when a couple guys caught up with me and we rolled into the finish. I finished 12th. I had a lot of time to reflect when I was dropped in solo on the train ride back. When I got back to my apartment at 10:30 at night, alone, tired, hungry, having just gotten yelled at for the better part of 2 hours with my heart rate at 180 beats per minute. It's not like any of that felt good. Your mind can go to a dark place where you start to question whether all this time on the bike is even worth it. I think it is. I'm about to turn 30. Most of my 20s, I spent both single and working a job in sales. If there's anything I've learned, it's how to be resilient, how to accept myself. Great pitches don't always turn into deals. Amazing dates don't always turn into another one. When you put yourself out there and don't achieve the ideal outcome, it's not failure. It's not a reason to stop trying. At the race, I was worried I was going to be a dog. I didn't want to get dropped. I didn't want to piss off others. All of that happened. But that's such a small part of the story. I showed up. I made a split. I was playing bikes with some amazing racers. And then I got dropped. And it's never that bad. And I was still able to keep pushing myself. And I beat the sun. And the guys who were chirping, They apologized.
Sorry about yelling at you.
Guys I was riding with, when they saw how much I was hurting,
I can't accelerate.
started actively encouraging me.
Okay, you're okay.
This is a really hard sport, but that's what makes it so great. And you might be a dog some days, but if you're not a dog, you're not a dog. And don't let that keep you from racing your bike.